This is a Pokemon Funko Pop. You know them well. They stare at you from the Target aisle and feed on your life energy. Some are worse than others though, and what better than a tier list of every single one to see just how bad they can get. Up first we got Aipom. Very interesting model here because Aipom's already kind of a giant head on a tiny monkey body. It works surprisingly well, and they just flat out went for giving him the screen accurate mouth. The beady eyes are still a little cursed object I found in an old antique store that if I went back the next day it wouldn't be their core, but that's just what they were like in the Detective Pikachu movie, so it's pretty darn accurate. A tier. We've got Alakazam, who Alakadam actually looks kinda decent. Big head, tiny body, is basically what the guy was already rocking. They got the spoons, important detail. I can't believe they didn't get sued for it, but I'm vibing with him mostly. His whiskers being the exact same plastic look as his face kind of makes them feel like they're just extra appendages coming out of his nose, and that's, that bumps him down to a C tier. Alolan Raichu is very cute. I like how chubby they decided to make his body. Like, that is what a man who eats pancakes all day, every day should look like. The ears, the big ears on top also do a lot to distract from the bulbous head, and it ultimately works way more than it should, especially his little feet on the surfboard down there. Oh, they're so cute. I think this is another A tier. I am pleasantly surprised. All right, we got our first Pikachu, and I am not a fan of these boys. For all that they can do the other Pokemon decent, Pikachu's not one of them. His head is just gigantic. I fear for his neck, man. The angry eyes do not make him better. In fact, it just looks like he wants to maul me to death in my sleep even more now. Objects with these beady black eyes should not be made angry. They should not be manufactured angry. That's just a bad idea for everyone involved. He's going down in D tier. Arcanine is here. He looks all right. Gigantic head, absolutely massive head. Jesus Christ, he looks bigger than the other ones. But the blockiness is covered up by the fluff. However, that fluff looks so plasticky and not fuzzy at all, and looks like he's got some weird skin growth. That does not look like fur at all. Still, it's not as bad as it could be. I'm gonna go with a C tier. Arceus, what did they do to you? Okay, the body part works. The body for all of these have been surprisingly accurate so far. It's the head. He looks like he has a mouth. What is this whole situation right here? Is this right here? That's not a pen. Is this right here supposed to be his mouth? Because that's what I'm seeing there. I'm seeing a mouth slightly smiling between two dimples. It is not working for me. I love an Arceus with this mold here, but everything else isn't cutting it for the god of all Pokemon. C tier. Blaziken has oddly more human proportions than any other Funko Pop I've ever seen, and I have human ones. How did they manage to give him a normal body and no other figure that they've ever made? Otherwise, it looks like a slightly more square than usual Blaziken. The fact that the eyes aren't complete, I think helps it a lot. I can understand why as a Blaziken fan you'd want to have this. I'm gonna throw it in B tier. Bulbasaur is actually extremely cute. There's a reason that this is one of the ones I have. Like, I'm not even a huge Bulbasaur stan, but this is just a really good Bulbasaur figure. The head is perfectly in proportion with the body. The bulb looks great. He's got a fine ass. And the eyes don't distract from it too much because we have this Bulbasaur lore accurate mouth down here. He just looks like a chubby little frog guy. I am down with the Bulbasaur fever. I don't mind throwing him in S tier. However, the flocked Bulbasaurs, they make fuzzy variations of these sometimes. Bulbasaur shouldn't be one of them. He's a lizard. He should not have fur. Why is there a furry version that they made? Straight down to F tier. That says E tier. Why does this tier list have an E tier? All right, hold on. Let me do something about that. Perfect. Oh. Of all the Pokemon you could convert, why did you do Caterpie? The custom molding works well. He looks like a caterpillar, but this whole facial area? No. I feel like this worm is going to crawl inside of me in the wee hours of the morning, and I'm only gonna be slightly conscious of it. Straight down to D tier. Oh, it's the big cheese himself, Charizard. Everyone's favorite merch seller of the franchise. They did a pretty damn good job with his mold. He looks like a kind of chibi-ified Charizard figure. Cover up those eyes and you've got something that really works. I'm gonna throw this one in A tier. I think they did the big guy some justice. Oh, I cannot say the same for Charmander though. What did they do to him? He looks so bald. Would you want this bald toddler running around your house, sitting on your shelves next to all your trinkets and bookshelves? I don't. I want Charmander to look like the really cute ones from that one level of Pokemon Snap. This is nowhere close to that. Lil bro, you're going down to D tier. I can't support kids right now. I just want to say they made a fuzzy version of him too. He is a lizard. Lizards are not fuzzy. Stop it. Oh, Chimchar's actually really cute though. I like the smile. They remembered his weird chest hair swirl. He's a little boxy, you know, he looks a little like a Roblox character, but that's fine. He's just a funky little monkey. The monkeys benefit by having these giant ears. Like, it kind of fits the design super well. I wouldn't be surprised to see more monkeys make it big down the list. He's got himself an A tier. Oh my god, that cannot be what the Cresselia actually looks like. What did they do? It's literally, it's a booty plug. Who signed off on this design? Oh my god, it's literally got the base at the, oh my god. Can I even show that? Here's what we're gonna do with this one. Filter, where's the mosaic? Oh, here we go. We're just gonna do that. There we go, perfect. Just gonna go straight down into Sad Pikachu, and we don't have to talk about it anymore, okay? It's down there, and we won't talk about it. Cubone is like lore accurate. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't go for him crying. Pokemon loves to remind you that Cubone's mom is dead. There are so many Pokemon cards where it is crying because it has no mom. It's insane that they didn't go that route with this as well. I didn't trust them not to. I like what I'm seeing with the skull here. It does a very good job. He's got a smile. He's smiling. The skull is smiling. Zoom and enhance. The skull is smiling. That's a little weird. You know what? You're going in B tier for that one, buddy. We got Dialga, the Tom Pokemon. Boy, is he just had the most blank-faced head-on stare you could ever imagine over there. This Pokemon was not meant to be made in this form factor, but he does look so... Oh my god. I don't know how to describe my feelings on it. Go rest with your friend Arceus. At least they fit together. They look pretty much the same. Dragonite's pretty cute. I don't like that there's not like a visible smile in the front. He's waving to you. It kind of feels like there should be a smile there. But they got the body mold absolutely perfect again. And Dragonite already has sort of chubby facial features, so you don't mind the blocky head as much. I just think it needs a smile to pull it together. So for now, this guy's going into C tier, and he can keep those two legendaries company. Okay, here's the first Eevee mold they ever did, and I'm not impressed. Having the legs all clumped together like that does not work with the giant head. I'm appreciating the little cat face there. I actually own one of these, but it's not exactly because I wanted it. It's because I ordered it off eBay while high on opiates. They were legally prescribed opiates, so it's okay for me to say that. But now I just sort of have it. I have the flocked one that's all fuzzy and there's some weird fur on it, which is strange because I don't have a pet. I don't like the proportions of this one. I think having all the legs clumped together as this one piece, it doesn't work. He's going down to D tier. However, this new Eevee mold, I'm digging it. He's got the spread out legs. He looks a bit rowdier. He's got the happy mouth. It's a big improvement. I think it's an improvement from D to B tier even. I would be happy with a flocked Eevee of this variety. We got Espeon, and Espeon is like one of the only Pokemon where the mouth should be on its face to not have a mouth. It's horrifying. Its eyes are saying to me that it has no mouth, and yet it must scream. And it's a psychic type, so that's possible. You gave so many of these other guys a mouth. Why doesn't Espeon have one? It's going down into E tier. Stop staring at me, please. Go down to E tier. Straight to E tier. Flareon's got a mouth right there. It's happy just like Eevee was. It's all stanced up like that good Eevee was. That's perfect. That's fine. That's all you need to do. Just give it a cute cat mouth and don't make it impossible for it to express. Go to B tier, Flareon. You earned it. Oh, Glaceon's actually one of the cutest ones. It's just got a straight up smile. Got a very expressive pose. I like its little icy flaps running down the side of its head to block off some of that squareness. The haircut is surprisingly working for it. Everything actually comes together on this one pretty well. I think this is an S tier. This is one that I would like to have. Greninja. I mean, I guess we already did Pikachu, but hey, Smash Bros character right here, making history by being a Funko Pop. This mold is so unique, you can barely even tell that the head is a Funko anymore. The eyes are still there, but they kind of just look like a frog's eyes anyway. Like, this is pretty damn close to what Greninja just is. He can go into A tier. All right, he put in the effort to have plastic surgery that doesn't make him look like a deformed monster like the others. He deserves an A. Oh, it's another monkey. monkey. This time it's Grookey. Grookey's monkey ears aren't on the same tier as the other two. I don't appreciate Grookey as much. I kind of feel like his pose should be like drumming with his little drumstick back there. But as it stands now, he's getting a C. It's kind of just preference at this point. I could only find the flocked Growlithe, but that's okay. I mean, he's a puppy. He deserves to be flocked, not like when they do it to Bulbasaur down there. I like the big happy grin, the eyes being almost the exact same size and shape as the nose is not it though. It looks like he's got 3 holes in his face, and I am not a fan of that. C tier. Speaking of holes in the face, Corsi. It looks like the gyroids from Animal Crossing. It looks like the gyroid bunny from Animal Crossing. It looks like that horrible thing where if you went to a friend's town and you didn't save in Animal Crossing for the GameCube and you came back and your face was that. No, I hate it. I would hate to be gifted this. I would actively burn this thing if I saw it. Straight down to the depths of hell. In fact, you're just gonna be peeking out of like the depths, okay? You don't even get the luxury of being all above ground. Jolteon's very cute. It's got the same cat face mouth that Flareon and Eevee had. That's all you kind of need to do. Its legs are a little slimmer, which I mean is just Jolteon. It kind of hurts a little bit in this case. I want the chubbier legs so it looks like they have more support to stand on. But otherwise, it's a good model. That's a B tier if I've ever seen one. What is Lapras? Look, I already know I made a butt joke, but like, what is this now? He looks a little too phallic in nature. I'm seeing a circle down here, and a long, big, deformed something up here. It does not work, okay? It's gonna get a D tier out of courtesy of not being as bad as the Cresselia. Also, there was a page for this on the Pokemon Center website where it just kind of rises up and clips through the floor out of the depths. It looks like it's a demon no clipping out of hell. Leafeon, again, the smile, the perfect diamond-shaped ears, the leaf tail looks like leaves. It's got great looking leaf thingies popping out of its legs. It just all works here. I like Leafeon. Not as much as Glaceon. I do like Glaceon a little bit more based on personal preference, but Leafeon has earned itself a nice fat A tier. Lucario! The face mold, pretty good. I like his little flappy doodles and his ears. The body mold, he's a twig. He's a twink of a twig. What's he doing down there? The proportions are just not it for me. I think he's got to go down into C tier as a punishment. As Professor Oak would say, you were close. That was a pretty fucking good impression. Luxray isn't half bad. All right, we got the big ears once again, kind of like Chimchar's ears even. The anime hair head spikes are killing it. 4-legged, so it's more supported, and it's got that star tail, and the eyes are cut off, so they're not as horrifying. That's a B tier. Okay, well, Meowth already kind of has an oversized head that there's no way he don't have scoliosis from trying to support it, so that's fine. It really is just the eyes in this case. Meowth is usually such an expressive Pokemon, and to take that away by making the eyes these pitch black holes into your heart, it loses a lot of his personality just based on that. And his coin looks like cheese. D tier. This abomination isn't Mew. I like that they got the blue eyes. The blue eyes are great. Helps a ton. But Mew, I want to see like his little mouth. He's always got like an ooh face. He's always looking around curiously like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, ooh. Like, think about how much he makes that face in the movie. They could have just printed that on there. It would have been perfect. C tier. I'm running out of space in C tier and we're gonna have to get creative. Oh my god. Oshawott is telling you at 3 in the morning he just threw up. That is that face. What is this? What is this, man? Oshawott's going down to D tier. Oh dear lord. Pichu is ugly. I like the smile. I like the itty bitty nose. I like the big ass ears that are in the caption right now. But the head is just so obvious on this one. No. D tier. Why did they try to make a bird into a Funko? Have they ever tried to do this with like any other characters? The beak is helpful. Pidgeotto's eye markers are really good at fusing into its eyes in this model, but big head, tiny body, how does this thing ever fly? D tier for the biggest bird. Evidently, they made another angry Pikachu, but it's an angry Pikachu that's standing up instead of being on 4 legs. I honest to God think this one is way worse because it looks like he has a bigger forehead. Buddy, I'm sorry, but you're gonna be staying angry down in F tier. This Pikachu is just sort of happy. It's got his iconic cute W mouth. I'm down with that. The body doesn't work. You gotta go chubby Pikachu if you're gonna make Pikachus into Funkos, all right? And they're just going for the most intense skinification of Pikachu that has ever existed for these things. Punishment in D tier. We also, of course, have sitting Pikachu. He's got a little more gut fat on this one, you know? He's clutching it. He's like, yeah, I got a bit of tummy. It's fine. It's an improvement. Flatter base. He's got that booty supporting him on the ground, but it's not enough of an improvement to move up a tier. Join your brethren in the D's. They did another pose for Pikachu where he's waving, and this is the one I have because it was like $5 on clearance, and I think I might have still been on the same opiates from this guy. I forget. I mean, they'll do that to you. Let's just put him in D tier and get it over with. The square head fits Piplup well. It's like a block of ice in there. He's got a mouth, always good. Love when my penguins can actually eat. He's friend-shaped. I'm down with him. C tier. Ponyta is just staring. I like the tuft of fur on the top, the head, the no mouth, the everything else. It's not doing it for me. It looks like it may have seen some things. Let's just hide you down here, buddy, all right? You go hang out down there. It's the Special Guys Club. This design misunderstands the fundamental appeal of Psyduck. You like him for his weird little dot eyes, and you already lost those. And if you don't like him for the dot eyes, you like him for how chubby and fat he is. He's a fat, cuddly duck. This is neither of those things. This completely does not vibe with Psyduck as a character, but it's only earned itself as bad as a D tier. Quaxley, this is a newish one, and he looks pretty good. I like the hair. The little flippers look great. The beak, love it. The eyes are holding it back just a tiny bit, but this is pretty darn accurate. I think this is a fine B tier. Like if you were a Quaxley fan, you've got this in your collection. Regular Raichu isn't living it up like his Alolan counterpart. The ears look a lot thinner, which I mean is just what he looks like, and we don't have the dynamic display of the surfing. He is pretty chubby. Going into C tier, little buddy. This is Rattata. I couldn't even find an actual figure picture of this one. I'm sure it exists. I just didn't find it on the site I was using. This thing's ugly. I don't have to explain why this face is bad, right? We're just gonna put him down here in the E tier with his friends. They'll appreciate a face like that. Scorbunny's surprisingly cute. It's got the personality in the feet. Why did my mind look to the feet first? It's got the happy smile. It's got the little piece of cheese on its face. The forehead is pretty accurate to what it already has. And the eyes don't distract all that much. I think this is a classic case of C tier, but like high C tier. I know we weren't ranking these on how far into each tier they were, but he's a real high C tier. He's a good boy. Snubble's just an ugly Pokemon. It's no fault of the designers here. They were already working with someone who... What's the pink dress thing that it's got? Ew. I honestly like the Detective Pikachu Snubble most of all, because at least he has some personality there and he's a fun design to see adapted into live action. This thing though is going to the D tier. Is Sabo like aligning his chakras? What does he do? Is he doing that prenatal yoga that Linda does in that one episode of Bob's Burger? That's what it looks like. He's squatted down. He's doing prenatal yoga. Buddy, you're gonna go down here with all the rest of the freaks, okay? It's fine, I promise. I promise. Okay, Sprigatito's so cute. They could have just given Sprigatito the same like cat mouth that the Eevees have, and the fact that they gave him this like custom looking mouth with the little teeth poking in. I want this one. This one's so cute. Get little guy. All right, you can go to S tier. Go straight to S tier before I change my mind. He's so cute. Squirtle is all right. There's not a lot going on with his head to distract you from the fact that he looks bald as hell, but it's Squirtle. So if you put sunglasses on him, he can just be part of the Squirtle squad and we don't have to look into those eyes. This could work. He's going to B tier because you have to put in a little bit of work on your own, but once you do, you got a pretty decent figure. Sylveon is actually so cute. This is one of the ones that I have, and I mean, you can understand why. She's an icon. They got the bow perfect. They got the twirly things. I think they're called feelers in canon, which is an insane name for them. And this cute little pose where she's just sitting there happily. It works. I wish it had the cat mouth instead of just the straight smile, but hey, what can you do? It's an S tier to me. Teddy Ursa looks surprisingly good. The moon on its face does a lot to cover up that 5 head that a lot of them have. He looks happy and inviting, kind of just the proportions of a normal teddy bear. They got the details on the ears perfectly, which I'm very impressed by. His paws look floppy and cute. I dig this design. It can be an A tier. They didn't give Espeon a mouth at all, but they made Umbreon upset. I don't know what they were cooking here. Why is this the only Eeveelution that's got to be pissed off? I think Umbreon would have benefited from being the most cat-like. Give it Sprigatito's face and just see the sales come pouring in. But for now, it gets to live in C tier. Vaporeon is actually really cute. The fins on the head and the extra one going around its neck do a lot to add to its design and sort of hide how much the body to head ratio is weirded out. The tail looks perfect and it's got the happy cat mouth. What more could you ask for from this one? This is getting a B tier from me. Vulpix is interesting. It's another one without a mouth, but at least it doesn't look as horrified as Espeon. That's not to say that it's good, but it is to say that I would trust this thing to stay the night at my house. You know, not a permanent residency, but if someone had one and they had to stay over and they needed to have this thing in their bag and couldn't leave it out in the car, fine. D tier. Wooloo. The custom mouth, the custom mold is basically just a big ball of fluff, which works perfectly for it. The eyes aren't great. Wooloo does have some pretty cool sheep eyes that they wish they could have worked into this design, but otherwise it's all pretty good. It can have a nice B tier. You may have noticed we were going alphabetical and now we're about to not be. I accidentally skipped a row. Sorry. Oops. Mewtwo. The body looks perfectly fine. The head is just slightly too large though, and that's somehow worse than it being comically too large. It feels a little off, but you can't quite put your finger on it. I think a Pokemon as cool as this needs a little bit more. Let's throw them in C tier. You know, that's where a lot of the ones with good bodies but bad heads are resting right now. Mimikyu is somehow one of the best designed figures of the entire line. It's perfectly proportional, aside from the two little dots on the bottom half of their disguise. I'm glad they went with making those two the dots instead of the fake eyes the dots. I'm sure it's probably somewhere in like Pokemon's lore Bible that Mimikyu's real eyes are down here, but it does make it so that you can kind of just cover those up and make your own new eyes and then have just a strangely good Mimikyu figure. This thing looks so good. You wouldn't even tell that this is a Funko on first glance, so it's going in S tier. Munchlax. I mean, this is kind of just what he looks like at any given moment. He's just standing there, watching. Doesn't have much of an expression at all unless he's eating. This is pretty much just him. Little buddy, you've earned an A tier. And finally, we have... So yeah, Mr. Mime is maybe not a good choice for this. The Pokemon already looks horrifying enough. To give him the black, beady eyes of hopelessness and despair. Also, it's drawing attention to the fact that his shoes are all weird. I never noticed that they looked like that. And his skin is just perfect human flesh color. It's not pink enough. This thing 100% works like a weeping angel. All right, if you let this into your house, you're gonna have to keep staring at it to keep it from moving. And the second you blink, it is going to run at you. Next thing you know, you are going to look down. It's gonna be climbing up your legs. It's gonna be frozen there and you can't do anything about it. And the next time you blink after that, your neck snaps. If you got more than one, holy shit, you're dead. It's the night before this video is supposed to go up, and they just revealed 3 new ones today, so lightning bonus round. First is Palkia. This was a convention one from the beginning of the month. Has the same problems as Dialga and Arceus, C tier. Fuecoco, perfect little guy, huggable and round, don't like the eyes, A tier. I like how round Gengar is too, but they should have given him the red eyes. That's Gengar's whole thing. He's got those bright red eyes. Such a missed opportunity. He's going down to D tier. And Zorua, an absolute masterpiece of one of these. Oh my god, the legs are separated, giving it a nice base to stand on. Doesn't look too much like a Funko Pop. The eyes are cut off a little bit, so it doesn't have that uncanny look. I want me one of those. Going to S tier. I was surprised by how good some of these molds are. They honestly cooked way harder than I thought they would, and I found a few more like Glaceon, Sprigatito, and Mimikyu that I might want to pick up for myself. And I mean, obviously I'm gonna get a Cresselia, but that's for other reasons.